belong to or anything.
No, it's not. It's not that kind of film. Definitely not. There are definitely moments in it that are memorable, and there is at least a handful of quotable moments. Willow.
Okay, that's the only thing.
I know. I just wanted to say it again. But I think
it's like me when I want to do my Ed Wynns impression.
Yes,
don't you know?
Yes.
Because I've discovered I can do that.
You've recently discovered that you could do that impression. I think definitely.
All right,
Excuse me,
love.
Gosh, definitely the most memorable thing about this film has got to be Mad Martigan.
Okay, right. Okay, sure.
This is my segue to talk about Val Kilmer.
Oh, that's a good segue. I get
thank
that.
you.
Okay.
Now he is, in general, brilliant. I really
Mad Mardigan or Val Kilmer?
Val Kilmer.
Okay.
He's one of those actors who you sort of forget is as good as he is.
Okay.
Because he is not prolific. He's not in loads and loads of stuff, loads and loads of really big things. Or do you disagree?
I kind of do, but then after we watched this film, we were talking about like other Val Kilmer films, and we couldn't remember hardly any of them.
Well, but then I started naming a few, and it was like, oh yeah. So one of those being Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Yes,
which he is so brilliantly dry in.
Yeah, he is very, very good in that. That is very good.
And really, really plays well alongside Robert Downey Jr. in that. And of course, Tombstone.
I know, it was like, oh my God,
which we've talked about. But, this is the thing. I think maybe Val Kilmer is a good character actor, and therefore you're not thinking, oh, it's Val Kilmer in such and such film.
You could say he's a real genius.
I don't get it.
Yeah, it was a film that it was in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
I probably could have guessed that.
It's a really random reference.
Somebody is laughing a lot right now.
Yes.
But just not me.
Let's just name a couple of his films. So, Top Secret.
Mm-hmm.
You've never seen that, have you?
Nope.
It's very much like a like Naked Gun,
right,
airplane sort of thing. It's very, very funny. Real Genius, which I haven't seen, I don't think, but I somehow it rings a bell, and I was talking to Joey about it. Top Gun, where he played Iceman.
Nope, haven't seen that.
Yeah, that's weird. The Doors, where he played Jim Morrison. Mm-hmm. He's bloody brilliant in that. True Romance, where he played Elvis. Well, he's only in it for a little bit, but it's still very good. Mm-hmm. Tombstone, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Doc Holliday.
Yeah.
Yep. Batman Forever, which I have an argument here.
Okay.
I don't think he's the worst Batman.
No, I agree.
I think that he's quite a good Bruce Wayne.
Yes.
But also the film just doesn't really suit him very much.
I think that the feeling I get watching Val Kilmer playing Bruce Wayne / Batman.
Butterflies in your stomach?
No.
Oh, okay.
Only when he is Gay Perry in Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
You get okay, fair enough. So
no.
what about you?
I just feel like he is subduing himself, because Val Kilmer is very, very funny. He's a really, really good comedic actor.
His turn in Top Secret is brilliant.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I mean as Mad Martigan, I mean as Gay Perry, and as Doc Holliday. Some of them were kind of more films that I'm more familiar with. So I feel like being the kind of very, very dry character of Bruce Wayne, it's not, it could have been anyone else, in my opinion.
Yeah. But this kind of... I'm going to say something that's going to sound a bit weird. Mad Mardigan could have been anybody else.
Sure, but Val Kilmer it's a role that he is allowed to bring his personality and his comedy to.
Well, later on, I'm going to say a couple of actors who were in line, and you're going to be like, what? So I might make you eat your words.
Wow.
And then, of course, I've got to mention one more Val Kilmer film.
Okay.
Because when I was thinking of my favourite Val Kilmer film, it was the first one that came to my mind. Which strangely wasn't Tombstone, actually Heat. I do love him in Heat. I think he's really, really good. That sounds weird. I found sexier than it should have been. But yes, Heat is an amazing film, and he has an excellent turn in that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Val Kilmer is a long-forgotten classic that deserves a rewatch.
Yes, very much so.
I really, really, I rate him, and he's really, really funny in this.
He is. He's very likeable in this.
Really likeable. He's, that kind of really satisfying anti-hero.
Yeah.
Which is one of my favourite character types, for sure.
He does action quite well in this film.
He does, yeah, he does.
He does have the adventurer type, the swashbuckling...
But it's a more, it's more of a kind of roguish Jack Sparrow-esque.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's Jack Sparrow before Jack Sparrow, isn't
exactly
it, really?
right. I'm pretty sure Jack Sparrow must have been partly based on Mad Marskin.
Possibly.
That's my theory. I'm sticking to it.
Bloody Disney.
Now let's talk about another underrated actor.
Okay. Anthony Hopkins.
Well, he's not in this film.
Oh,
so
right.
Let's talk about another underrated actor who is
Ron
in
Perlman.
this film.
Oh, no. Okay. I'll shut up now.
Warwick Davis.
Okay. I prefer Ron Perlman. But okay,
He's not in this film.
Come on.
So
Damn it! Damn you, Ron Perlman! Being Willow!
Maybe if they remake it. Warwick Davis, of course, plays the title role. Mm-hmm. He is Willow!
Ufgood?
Yeah. And I love Warwick Davis.
Okay. He loves you too.
I hope so. That would make me really happy. The Life is Short series that he did is very, very funny. Also featuring Val Kilmer.
Yeah, that was, I was sad ending. Oh.
And he's been in some of the biggest film franchises.
Leprechaun.
Okay, yes.
That's true.
I know, yeah. It's not what I was thinking of, but he's been in Star Wars, he's been in Harry Potter, and you don't really see his face.
Yeah, true.
I mean, I think there are...
He's a character actor.
He is a character actor. But he's also a good actor in his own right, and, it doesn't have to be as... What? Don't throw shade at Warwick. He's lovely.
Yeah, he is. He is. But I think, if I'm completely honest, the thing that I really like Warwick Davis in, okay, apart from in like all his roles in Star Wars films, because he's been in all but the first two, I think, is probably in Ricky Gervais's Life is Short.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He is very, very funny in that.
He is very funny.
But that's what I mean. It's kind of... he's been in these huge films, but really more, I guess, because of his stature rather than his acting chops.
Well, he was in Labyrinth.
Was he in Labyrinth?
He was in Labyrinth. He
My
played
goodness,
a
I
Goblin
didn't even
Corp.
know. So he, again, must have been in heavy, heavy prosthetics.
Yep, he was one of the ones with the metal thing around head where they've got the things on the stick.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, I mean, so he was, he must have been sort of in his very late teens when he was making Willow.
I'll come on to that later on.
Okay,
It might be a fact.
It might be a fact. Exciting. But I think he holds his own. I think he does a good job in this. The character is meant to be very naive, and he plays that well.
He does act very well in this film, and this is one though. How can I say this? So, Warwick Davis isn't like a huge star.
No.
Okay, and that's not a height gag. Okay, sorry.
We talked about this.
Yeah, I know. He's not a big star. Okay, again, not a height gag. What I'm saying is that he isn't a headline act.
Yes.
Yet the film's made after his character.
Yeah, I mean, this is the problem with it, because, even in the credits, it's not Warwick Davis, credited first. It's Val Kilmer, and then the actress who plays Saoirse.
Joanne Whaley?
Yeah. And then Warwick Davis.
Yeah.
Even though Warwick Davis is clearly he's a title character for
Yeah, but this happened with like
sake.
Superman as well, because Christopher Reeve wasn't like the headline at the top. It was like Gene Hackman and Marlon Brando. Wasn't Christopher Reeve playing Superman? He's the title character. His name should be at the top.
You lead with the people who are going to make the most fuss.
Well, yeah, of course, but yeah, I think this is most definitely a film that was made almost for him. In fact, I read a couple of facts which I almost don't believe. But Warwick Davis, this was his chance, shall we say, you know? And he does really well in it. He does do really well.
Yeah, I don't think it really says anything about his abilities. I think it says more about the availability of roles for
Plus,
someone
also, he was quite young.
He was very young.
So, yes.
But I think, you know, the availability of roles for people with a disability, but also... No, it's true. And also, you know...
The handy-capable.
The handy-capable, apologies. But, you know... And casting, you know, someone who is handy-capable in any role, you know, it's just kind of a casting decision, isn't it? And unfortunately, you know, things are only now becoming more kind of diverse.
Definitely. Well, I think if this film was released now, it would be much, much better.
Yeah, of course. So, you know, it's you know, you can hear me kind of tripping over my words. It's always a difficult topic to kind of talk about, you know, any kind of diversity issues. But I think that, you know, if it wasn't for, you know, his height, then Warwick Davis might have had more of a chance to be a bigger actor.
A modern day Alec Guinness.
Indeed. Because I do think he's great, and, you know, and he obviously, it's just fascinating that he is in so many well-known films.
He has got a very good IMDb page.
His CV is fantastic.
Yes. We forgot to mention Chronicles of Narnia.
Of course.
He was in Chronicles of Narnia.
Jesus.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Leprechaun. Where he played the leprechaun.
Yeah. See, he's just got his resume.
Get your hands off my popcorn.
Incredible.
Terrible film that is.
Anyway, moving on, because I've made myself feel uncomfortable with not knowing, you know, the right words to say.
Yeah, sure.
For which I apologise. And I only have the best of intentions. Let's talk about Ron Howard.
Okay.
This is a director, so you're going to have to take over.
Okay, so Ron Howard, who obviously started life as an actor, really, although he did direct quite early on in his career, he did a film called Grand Theft Auto, which is terrible. Really terrible. They re-released it about 10, 20 years ago, probably longer than that, because I'm really old, and time stands still for me. Which the font for the front cover is actually in the style of the video game Grand Theft Auto. It's got nothing to do with the video game. So yeah, he has made a lot of films, yet mostly people remember him for being Rich Cunningham.
Of course.
He's like the films that I named, Splash, Cocoon, Backdraft. These are all really good films, even because they're different styles of films. I mean, you have like the romantic comedy of Splash, you have the sci-fi element of Cocoon, you have the romance of Far and Away, which was a big, epic, bombastic film. You have the true life's tales of Apollo 13 and Rush, and then you have like the family dramas, stroke comedies of like Parenthood, and the factual films of like Frost Nixon, and then he goes and does a solo movie. I'm not going to say diverse, because he is, but I think it's more than that.
The thing is, you know, you talk about an auteur as someone who has, you know, an instantly identifiable directing style.
Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
Who, by the way, Val Kilmer was in Jay and Silent Bob reboot.
Indeed. But yeah, Kevin Smith, Quentin Tarantino.
Oh, Tarantino, yes. It's like close up of feet.
Yes. You know, the Coen brothers, you know, you can pinpoint, like, yes, that's one of their films.
Yes, definitely. Even George Lucas.
And I would,
Spielberg.
And I wouldn't say that Ron Howard is an auteur, but that isn't a bad thing.
Sure, okay, yeah, I get you.
Because he can really, I think, lend his hand to anything, and, you know, and can just kind of create any different style. I think he has a lot more scope, a lot more imagination than most directors.
Yes, I completely agree. I mean, granted, he's the director of a lot of these, and he's not much of a writer, should we say. Whereas George Lucas, he was Well, he's created an entire galaxy.
Yes,
You know?
exactly.
He's created like Indiana Jones.
But maybe that's the thing, you know.